Another beautiful day in sunny Cornwall, and time to get some haymaking gear out. Timmy was itching to go, so we took his standard Fordson out with my Massey hay kicker and had a little demonstration with it. So that's the first thing I'll do is show you that. The blogs are going extremely well. I said about you know, if it went up 500 I'd be doing well. Well, we got nearly 5,000 views on the Dutras, so I'll come back in a minute and I'll show you a bit more about the Dutras. So see you in a minute. Well, the whole standard Fordson was great. Took me back years just the smell of it. I've got to admit, I did have to have a go on it. And the shot where you're seeing down the bonnet, or down the fuel tank, that's actually me driving it. But what you didn't see was, as I turned the corner at the bottom, I stalled the tractor because I was trying to film it and drive at the same time, drive one-handed, and lost me touch. It cut out on me, so I had to get off and start it again. But anyway, it was good fun, and it was cracking day. I don't know if you noticed the views. We had some beautiful views down. Look straight into Morganporth and see the sea, and fabulous. You know, you can't buy that. So great fun. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the Dutras. I've found a few more shots of my Dutra, so I'll show you that bit first, and just to show that we do actually get out the shed occasionally. I thought I got a video of it, but I can't find it. I've got so many photographs, I just dig through it and it takes me ages. But anyway, these shots will show you a better one of it is action. It's not me driving it, it's Ian with his Winnie the Pooh bear in there as his mascot. Okay, I'll show you that and then I will come back again. Right, well that's the English Dutra. Now we're going to go and see some Hungarian Dutras. We flew out from Stansted with John Pickard, my mate John, and my brother, and landed in Budapest, and then we had to do the river cruise down the Danube, which was great, really interesting, and at least you could cool off a bit because Christ, it was hot. But anyway, when we finished there, we hired a car and we went drove an hour and a half to what's it called, Kiskoros, and John had he's got a Hungarian friend who's crap proper chap, and he hired a bungalow, and we had this bungalow to live in for the weekend, and it was good. You know, we could the show was only just down the road in walking distance, and we were able to get something to eat there. Goulash. No, not a big fan of goulash, I've got to say. But there was a little shop there sold some rolls and stuff like that, so I was quite happy with that. I shouldn't say that really, because it was okay, but goulash to me is lamb stew and not very nice. But anyway, we did that and arrived at the show. So I'll show you what was what and see you in a minute. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed it. I mean, you've got to be interested in the tractors, but it's so different to what you see in this country. You know, it is an unusual tractor, and it's a real beast of burden. And as you can see, you know, they're nearly all engine right at the front, which gives them huge traction, and you just don't see that here. You know, we stick the wheels right at the front, so it acts as a bumper, but there, engine at the front, get the weight over the front wheels, and it's got a pull. I just want to show you a couple more things we saw at that show. One is a plough. I want to show you their ploughs, because Christ, they're somewhat different to us. They plough double depth, and you will see that in the next bit of video, really. But just to understand it, you need to see the close up of the plough. And there's one furrow ploughs deep, and then the next furrow fills in or takes the top off and puts that into the bottom of the furrow you've ploughed with the front furrow. Does that make sense? And then you know, coming along next time, so your wheel is on top of the top furrow, but it's been ploughed in, so it plows very deep, but it's actually not that deep to drive with. But obviously it takes some doing. I would guess they do it like that because the grain is very, very sandy, and I wouldn't think there's a lot of goodness in it, and they're just bringing up some good stuff to grow a crop in. So quite interesting. And the other thing is we stood there with a beer and stood on this rusty piece of metal, and there's a hole in it, and you think, well, what's that? And then look at it, and it's a bomb. A bomb has dropped, and it's a section of bridge, and this bomb has been dropped out of an aircraft, obviously, or I don't know what it was, but anyway, it's gone straight through this plate, and it's a huge, thick plate, and it must have absorbed the shattering effect of the bomb. So the bomb is still there, and it's just blown the back end of it. So it's just stunning. I'm really fascinated by this thing. So I thought I'd show it you and see what you think. You might be bored as hell with it, but I thought it was really, you know, for that bomb to pierce the armour like that, and then for the armour to hold it so that it couldn't explode. Well, it did explode, but it blew the back right out of it. But anyway, have a look, see what you think, and, you know, more waffle from Taylor, but see you in a minute. All right, well, that was the end of the show for that day. It was a long old day because naturally we didn't go home after that. We hit the beer trail after that, which was very nice. I couldn't understand a word anybody was saying apart from John and his mate who was interpreting for us, but lovely, friendly people, and you know, I wouldn't hesitate to go back there again because they certainly made you welcome. The following day, it was a 2-day show, but the following day was a completely different place, and we didn't really know what we were going for, although John said it was completely different. And so that's what we did. We drove, well, right outside the town. I can't remember how far it was, but certainly 10 miles out, and went into this big field, and big, very sandy field as it happened, so much so that we got stuck getting out. But anyway, it didn't matter. Great people again. When we got there, we sort of, well, we didn't know what it was, and I thought it was a bit of a plough match. They were all there with ploughs, but if it was a plough match, it was nothing like I've ever seen before. You'll see in a minute. And then when they'd finished ploughing, it was so good that they then destroyed it. And I mean, seriously destroyed it. And again, you'll wonder what the hell I'm talking about now, but wait till you see it. But when they'd done that, well, I'll come back and speak to you again after that, because I think it was sort of 2 parts to the day, and that was the first part. I took quite a lot of pictures and film there, too many actually, because I ran out of power in the end for the bit I did want to film. But it was good. I have a close encounter, as you'll see. I was actually stood in the bar when I had the close encounter, but I won't tell you any more. You'll see it. It was good. So see what you think of this bit.
Erről beszéltem, hogy vannak olyan traktorosok, amik a traktorra is. Minden a szalagok mellett biztos, hogy értékes, szép képeket lehet készíteni, természetes mindenkinek a fantáziájára van bízva. Markus Pistinek a traktorot, nézd oda! Barkócsonatok kitépítottak szeret közepén. Még várjuk, az órát. Oda nézd, és mi történt itt? Nézd oda! Megjött a láztalpas, keveri a No10-et, és még jó, hogy nincsen víz, vagy eső, jelenségek vannak. Ez kell a népnek, a cirkusz, ezt mondta a No10 is annak idején. Pénz és cirkusz van, akkor minden van. Ugye ez ész nem kell, látni is mutatják a sofőrök. Természetesen tetszik valamelyik gép, vagy lehet kikülni, taxolni, nagy ováció. Csak úgy dobja a homokat. Jó, beforoljuk a hangtechnikát, nem érdekes. Jó kis kiskörös homok, mindent megiszik. Jaj, hát vágod azt mondod, hogy nem induljuk által. Minden ilyet elhúztam. Kérem szépen, annyi, hogy locsolni kéne az embereknek a pólóra a vizet, és nagyra nyitna a szánkat, jön bele a por, a láncsarkot modikál. Jaj, ott a szaragban egy jót lehet borolni. Oda néz, egyik kizsukra kihúzza a másikat, mindegyik kapar. Jaj. Ilyenek a jó dugrátok, egyik segít a másiknak. Ha túl sok a fröccs az asztalon, segít neki meg. Mert azt mondja, hogy kívánjuk, hogy mindig olyan a szeret.
There, if you want to cultivate a field in Hungary, you need a tank. And anything else you can think of. It was, I don't know, it was just crazy, really. It was, I mean, it was good fun. It was good to watch, and they clearly gave those tractors hell. Now, the next bit was much more, well, a bit more sane and much more entertaining, really. And it was tractor pulling. Now this tractor's the anchor, and if you look at the front of it, you'll see there's a big pulley wheel. And what they do is they'll pull, or two tractors will pull against that one big four-wheel drive one. I'll call it a Steiger. I don't know what it is, but it's a big beast anyway. And you'll see in the film. Unfortunately, I ran out of video before I managed to take the big ones, but I've got a few photographs which will show you what it's about. But I think it's a terrific way of doing it, because rather than, you know, not knocking the tractor pulling that happens now in this country, because it is great, but for a smaller rally or something like that, you could actually have tractors competing on equal terms. If you could set this up, you wouldn't need to dig out a track. You could do it in any sort of field. And the beauty of the anchor moving like it does is that the tractors that are doing the pulling can't bury themselves. So, you know, and you compete one tractor against the other. You'll see anyway. You'll see, and see what you think of it.
haladnak. Az egy kaparomászi kapar. Fejfej mellett haladnak. És a homokra győzik mind a két traktor.
Well, there you go. A whole weekend of tractors, and the only one I got to drive was one of the same as I got at home. But it was good fun. I'd love to put that plough in the ground and give it a bit of a go in, but unfortunately they'd finished tilling the field by then. I hope you enjoyed it. It was good fun. It was from there we were supposed to be going to catch the plane home, and as you can imagine, especially where that tank nearly got me, or didn't nearly get me at all, but it looked like it. I was covered in sand, and it wasn't very pleasant really, because it was hot and sweaty. So we managed to con a shower out of not con. They were very good about it and let us use a shower, but it was ever so difficult to get dry, and we finished up with a celebratory drink with a chap when we left. But it was great, and you know, like I say, I'd go back in a shot. None of us could understand what each other was saying, but you don't have to, do you? You know, if you like tractors, you just enjoy it, and that's what we did. So I'll leave you with that shot. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a long one, longest ever, I think, but I can't really cut it down, and I don't want to. If you've got this far, thank you very much. You know, please give me some comments. Everybody's sort of got a bit blasé now, but I need the comments because I need to know where we're going with it. Before anybody asks, we will not be doing that tractor pulling at St Morgan Rally. There isn't space, and we just couldn't do it. But I wish somebody else would have a go at it. Tredinic, perhaps, you know, you've got the scope to do it, and it would be a really good one. Give the tractor boys something to do, and you know, where it's, especially where there's a lot of steam, or tractor club at Fradden, you know, do something different. It would be a fantastic crowd puller, I'm sure it would. And you know, all those old arguments about Nuffield and Fordson and stuff like that, they could all be sorted out on the day, boy, because you know, it's tug of war, straight tug of war, one against the other, nothing to do with the sledge and who sat on the sledge. This is you against whoever's driving along beside you, or might even be in front of you. So come on, somebody do it. Thank you very much. See you soon. Cheers.
Go.
Taking a picture of this. Right.
Így. Oké.
Right.
Oké.
Nem fénykép, videó.
We're doing it.
Videó.
You doing it?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Egészséget.
Come on, down your throat.
Egészséget.
Cheers.
Sárga barak. Ez normál. Ez egy normál, nem?
Good stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Very good.
Excellent.
That's mounted by cup.
Jó, szuper.